Hello and welcome everyone to my session that is end-to-end testing with Raptor. Here is the agenda of the session. So we'll go through introduction first, and then I'll take you through background and problem statement. Then we will see the solution approach, and then I'll show a demo. A brief introduction about me. So my name is Salman Saifi. I'm a consultant in ING. Basically, I'm a front-end developer. Sometimes I write blogs as well on technical topics, and in my free time, I usually play guitar. If you want to connect to me, here is the email ID and the LinkedIn profile that you can connect. You can also visit my blog that I have written for Raptor in ING publication. Okay, let's start. So I can tell you a background or a problem statement that you can relate. Maybe let me tell you an example wherein there are feature teams who are there for development of their feature, and then there is a central team who connect or who organizes all the features together, and then they go to production together. This is an example of most of the cases, but your case might differ. But let's stick to this problem, and then we can see where Raptor can really be helpful. So what happens is, central team makes some changes like a common platform like state management or routing, and then the feature team also they make some changes in their own features, and then there are teams who are involved in that release, or there are teams who are not involved in the release. What happens is, let's say if they are ready, they deploy it into test and acceptance, and the central team requests everyone to test their feature. Now what happens when you start testing and then you get to know, okay, login is not working, or maybe some downstream API is not working, or maybe test case is not valid anymore. And below is the picture which depicts this scenario. So maybe take an example: feature 1, feature 2, feature 3, those are in red, they are going into this release. But feature 4 and feature 5, they are just busy in their new development, so they are not currently involved in the release. What happens? They go to test and they go to production, and then feature 4 comes to know, okay, its own feature is not working. The problem is maybe there is something changed in the routing which they were not notified. How we can solve this? We can solve this by having end-to-end test cases for all the teams. But let's take a step back. Let's see what is an end-to-end automation test. A helper robot that behaves like a user. So an user which clicks or put some values into an input box. So that helper robot behaves like the same user and verifies whether the feature is working fine or not. What we as a feature team want in automation testing. So it should be basically very easy to set up. It should be easy to maintain. And most important part from web component perspective is it should be able to handle shadow DOM. And last but not the least, anyone in the team should be able to change. What are all tools available in order to do this? We have Selenium, we have WebDriver IO, we have Cypress, Puppeteer, and n number of other tools are available. Sorry. But what are the current challenges with these tools? So Selenium does not support explicitly Shadow DOM. I'll come to this term, what is Shadow DOM, a bit later in the slide. WebDriver IO and Cypress and Puppeteer, they can handle Shadow DOM, but the thing is they are purely JavaScript. So when you say JavaScript or when you say a specific technology, then you need a specific profile for developers to handle this situation. And also code management. So when something changes on the UI, then you need to go and change your automation test suite, automation test code as well. Let us talk about what is Shadow DOM. So Shadow DOM is a tool which gives you encapsulation. It allows a component to have some sort of tree which you cannot directly change, and that is where encapsulation is present. So you can see the screen. In order to reach to a button, in order to click a button, you need to reach out to that button by going through individual nodes. So let's say if that button is in the DOM at 3 level, you need to reach out to every single level and then you can click on it. it's a bit good as well as evil. Good in terms of development, wherein you can and some other teams cannot change the CSS of your component. But when it comes to testing, it's equally difficult as well. So how we currently test shadow DOM elements? So in Selenium, let's say for example, you have to reach to individual nodes by writing these many number of lines, and then you put a find element or a click element. This approach has certain issues like maintainability. Imagine if this particular element has changed or moved to a certain different level, then you need to go back and change the code. So you have to find it out what has changed, and then you need to change it. And then you need to change it that many number of times you have written in the code. And that incorporate complexity. So when there's issue in maintainability, you need to change it so many number of times, and then it includes complexity. And then it is a time consuming process as well, because then two or one of your developers are busy updating your automation test scripts. To overcome these problems, we created Raptor. What is a Raptor? It's a smart web automation component that can handle shadow DOM very easily. And when I say smart, I have some facts and figures to support it. We'll see it in consecutive slides. But why Raptor? So I can tell you a few points which might be really easy and really supporting the fact why you should go for Raptor. First, it's ease of test creation. So it's really easy to write or to create test steps. It's a matter of configurations. Second, faster debugging. When I say faster debugging, then I mean you need not to go to Jenkins, you need not to go to see their logs, because everything, all the logs are in your Outlook, in your email. What went wrong, which API is down, what particular JavaScript is failing. Then it is highly configurable. So you can move steps very fast. So let's say what something has changed and now step 3 is no more required. So you can just remove step 3. If there are 2 more steps I have introduced, you can easily introduce that in test scripts. So no coding and nothing is required. Then those are step-based test cases. So you see your test script and then you know, okay, which step I'm going to write that test for. Then there is a basic inbuilt reporting is already there. So you need not to change anything. You need not to configure anything. You will automatically get a report. Then your test can run on your Selenium grid as well. So nowadays there are organizations who are using Selenium grids to run the test cases. So you can configure that as well. And the most important one, so no specific technical knowledge required. If you have basic knowledge of any coding, any language, you are good to go. Let's talk about Raptor composition, how and why and what Raptor is built of. Sorry. So the first thing is test scripts, wherein you configure your script. Second, it will read your test script. So Raptor will automatically read it through some Java classes. Then it initialize Selenium WebDriver, and then it executes some JavaScript commands, and that is the engine of the Raptor. And then it connects to Selenium grid, and then grid will give you reports. Maybe it's success, maybe it's failure, and then you will see notification and screenshots. What are the current capabilities of current step? So the first thing is your test scripts are really simple JSON configuration files. Second, I told you it's already integrated with Selenium grid. Then when I said smart, here comes the points that makes Raptor smart. One thing is dynamic screens are handled in Raptor. So let's say based on certain data, screen 3 may come or screen 4 may come. You can configure this very easily in Raptor. And then optional screens are handled. So when I say optional, you can relate to a situation wherein, let's say you are logging into an application for the very first time. That will ask you for a cookie. Next time, if you log in for the same application, it will not ask for a cookie. Similarly, if you're executing your test for the very first time, that screen may come, and then Raptor has to act on it. But next time, for certain different test cases, if Raptor is logging into the same application with some same set of test data, then it might not appear, and then Raptor has to skip it. Then rerun of a failed step. So there might be a chance there may be a hiccup or something. Your API is down for a moment. But what Raptor can do, Raptor can rerun in order to just confirm whether that test is really failing or it was just a hiccup. What are the future capabilities that we can think of in Raptor? We want to reuse certain test steps. Like right now, if your steps are same in two different test scripts, you have to have a copy version of that step. But you want to reuse, like you write it once and then reuse it at many test script as you want. Then, sorry, we want to update certain conference pages so that the test results are at common place. And then of course we want to create some graph creation for better reporting. Let's quickly see the script elements that you can write in order to execute your test. So the first is navigate. So the first step itself, when you want to test your application, you have to navigate to that particular application. So if you just write the first thing, that will be visible in your report. So whatever statement that you will write it here, it will be visible on your report and saying whether that particular test step is passed or failed. So the action is navigate, and you have to give the URL which application you want to test. And Raptor will be able to take you to this URL if you write just this much. Then let's say if you want to enter something into an input box, you just have to do the same thing. A step name, this will be visible on your report. Then the action is input, and what value you want to insert, that is this much. And locator, we will talk about locator in a consecutive slide. It's very easy to find shadow DOM elements or to find an input locator which you want to put some value. Then the click step, almost same. The step is what user is trying to do. What is the action? Action is click. Time is optional. So if you want to put it, you can put it. If you want to skip it, you can skip it. Raptor will wait for a spinner for an API to return the data and then it will click. Same for locator. I will show in demo how easily you can find the locator of that element. When we write a automation test, then we really want to do some assertions. So when you are on third screen, you want to really see if you are on third screen or not. Then this particular step will help you to do that. That is the expect step. You do this same English statement. What is the action? Expect. What is the locator? You'll find a locator or the header that you want to expect, and what value you are waiting, what value you are expecting. So you will put this, and then Raptor will try to assert. If that value matches, it's a pass test. If not, then it's a failed test. Let's talk about notification and alerting, how you are going to get this results. So you will get something in your email if you configure this Raptor into your Jenkins pipeline. You will see an email with that report, and how the reports look like. Report is like this. So this is the extend report that I'm using. These are the test cases that we have written, and these are all the steps that you saw the English statement. So if these are blue and the green one is like the whole test is passed. But if it fails, what will happen? So you can see one of the test cases passed and one of them is failed. In the fail one, you will see the step is yellow and red is the whole test is failed. These colors are configurable. You can change as what color you want. You can change it in the configurations. And you will see logs below here. So which API is failing, 500, 404 error, what are the JavaScript errors, everything you will see it in here. And then there is a screenshot that you will see on which step it failed. So it will help you to narrow down the problem, what might go wrong. This is one sample Raptor test script. Just wanted to show you how easy it looks like. So this is the configuration part, wherein you tell Raptor what is the name of the test case, whether you need a proxy or not. Some organization they need proxy. Others, they don't need proxy, so you have to configure that. And which browser you want to run. Currently, Raptor supports Internet Explorer, Edge, and Chrome. Firefox has some security issue that we are trying to solve just to get logs and all. And there's the test step. So you see there's one step, navigate to URL. What is the action? Navigate, and then this URL. Then Raptor will take you to this website. I have taken example of this website which is in Polymer for a web which is having Shadow DOM, so that we can have that example. Then second, click on certain tab. So let's say we are clicking on doctor. This is the locator that we will see how easily we can find. And then Raptor is expecting something. So expected text should be city scan. And then we want to insert something on the input, which is ABC. This is just a sample example. And if you write this much, Raptor will execute this test for you. Good. These are some Raptor documentation. So what I did, you can also create something from this scratch. Just add a dependency of Raptor and it will do it for you. If not, you can go to this GitHub repository, which is Raptor Quick Starter. It has a ready-made example that you can start from. You can see some, there are 2 test scripts already configured. I'm going to show it in the demo. And if you want to request a new feature, or if you want to report an issue, you can go to this repository, which is Raptor test, and then you can create a new issue. There is a very nice blog that we have written. You can read it on Medium, which is this one. Now the demo time. So let me quickly show you the repository. So this is the blog that I'm talking about. So you can have a brief introduction and some guidelines, how you can do it. You can read this one. This is a GitHub repository for Quick Starter Raptor that you can clone. And if you clone it in your IntelliJ, there is some prerequisite as well. So in order to run Raptor, you need to have a Java 8 JDK. You should be having Maven and IntelliJ, of course, to work on. And you can download the WebDriver for your OS. Maybe you are working on Windows or Mac. These are the steps that you have to do. So you have to first clone it and then download the corresponding WebDriver. We already have few WebDrivers for Linux, Mac, and Windows, but there might be a chance by the time you are installing it, you have to download something new. Then you need to set this path, the Chrome driver that you have downloaded, into application.property file. And if you want to run it on Selenium Grid, you have to have your URL of Selenium Grid that you can update. I'll quickly show it in the demo. So when you clone this one, this repository, you will see something like this. So it will be having nothing but a simple plain application class. Then there is a JUnit test, which is there. And then these are the test scripts. These are 2 sample test scripts that you can start from. You can take a look. So what I did, I just written a test script for this particular website. This website is in Polymer 3. And that is why it can give you an example of how to write test script for Shadow DOM. Then you can see I have written a couple of more steps. And let's see how you can find a locator. So you see for this locator, I have just written a simple keyword, but for this locator, I have full document.query selector. The reason behind this, you can put this one here in this test script itself, or you can better manage it via locator properties. So what you can do, you can declare a variable and you can put that value here and use this particular variable in your test file. The benefit is then if something has changed, then you have to just change it at one place and rest of the test script is as is. And let me show you how easily you can find a locator. So let's say I'll copy this one. I'll go to Chrome. So this is the website. Let's say, for example, I want to click this one. Go to inspect, choose this one, and choose this one. So this is the anchor tag that I want to click. Copy, right click, copy JS path. And if you see, this is the path that you can put. So what you can do, you can put it directly here like this, or what you can do, you can declare a variable anchor locator. Go to locator properties, little type header app dot header dot locator, and then you can paste it like this and just use this variable. So that is why I just left a couple of them as variable and couple of them as full value, so that I can show you they both are possible. The only thing is this one is mostly coming from page object model. So you can easily manage your page object. So let me run it for you just to show you how it will look like. So I will write ambient test. It will open a Chrome browser. Then it goes to this website. Then it clicked on that Kari Doctor tab, and then it searched for MRI scan. Similarly, this time we are going to search for CT scan. So now both the test cases are successful. Let's in the test output, the report will be there. So if you open it in Chrome, so you see there are two tests which are passed. These are the steps that we have written, and they both are passed. What if one of them has failed? So let's say if we go there and just remove this one and again run the test case. So it will wait because it didn't find it. So nothing happened. That test must be failed. And then it is going for the second test. Okay, so you can see there were two tests, one of them failed. And if we take a look on the report, you can see one of them failed, one of them passed. And you can see that the one which failed, it's MRI scan. This step has failed, and you can see a screenshot. This has happened. And if you want to just run it on Selenium grid, the only thing you need to do is to put those variables, Selenium grid, true, false, and put your Selenium grid URL. I think that is it. I hope you will find Raptor useful. And if you have any questions, you can connect to me. Thank you very much for listening. Have a nice day ahead. Thank you very much.